Poised for Exit is a show for business owners who want to achieve a successful exit based on their own terms. Your business exit will likely be the biggest financial transaction of your life, and for most, you'll have one shot at doing it right. The topics and guests we feature and the stories they share will provide valuable ideas and strategies to improve operations and grow enterprise value so you can achieve the best possible exit outcome. Now here's your host, award-winning certified exit planning advisor, Julie Keys.
Welcome, everybody, to the Poised for Exit podcast show. Today, you're going to be listening to our 300th episode. Our very first episode was recorded in June of 2020, and our audience has grown from local to international. As the host and creator of this show, I'd like to thank you for listening, sponsoring, and sharing these episodes. The purpose of this show, and always has been, is to help business owners achieve their best exit outcome. And we know that those who listen and share our show align with that philosophy. So thank you. Today's guest has received multiple awards for her work as a business attorney. She is the co-founder and managing partner of her firm and has authored a book titled Coopertition. It's a book that presents memorable and instructive stories illustrating the importance of cooperative collaboration among competitors for the benefit of the client. And if you know me, you know that I practice and speak on this topic all the time and have been for years. It really truly is an essential element in the world of professional advisory. So before we dive in, we're going to hear a quick message from our show sponsors. Stay with us.
My name is Todd Crow, and I'm the president of the Twin Cities Exit Planning Chapter. If you're a business owner and advisor and want to learn more about the world of exit planning, you're invited to visit the Twin Cities chapter of the Exit Planning Institute. You can expect top-level education delivered by subject matter experts at every monthly meeting. Grow your network and draw from the learning that could be a game changer for your business or your practice. There's no pressure to become a member, so come and see what the buzz is all about. Our meetings are held the second Wednesday of the month, 7:30 to 9 a.m. See the show notes for more information and registration links.
This is Andy Kosumba, president of Calhoun Companies. We understand that selling your business is a big deal. Since 1908, Calhoun Companies has been confidently connecting buyers and sellers. From small family shops to large corporations, our expert brokers walk with you and guide you every step of the way, whether you're looking to retire or simply for a fresh start. If you're curious what your business could sell for, or if you're ready to start the process, head to calhouncompanies.com for a free and confidential consultation. Calhoun Companies, the confident choice for buyers and sellers.
Exiting your business is a big deal, both financially and emotionally. I'm John Marquet, certified exit planning advisor with TrustPoint. We help business owners transition smoothly on their terms. Our focus is on maximizing value, minimizing stress, and giving you confidence in what's next. Whether you're selling or passing the torch, we make the process seamless. Start planning today at trustpointinc.com. That's trustpointinc.com.
Thinking about selling your business in the next few years? Don't wait to start planning. I've seen too many business owners wait too long and regret it. Freedom Financial Partners are financial advisors who specialize in exit planning for business owners, helping you reduce tax surprises, protect what you've built, and quantify how much you need from the sale. Their proven process helps you think beyond your business so you can move forward with clarity and confidence. The longer you wait, the fewer options you may have. Download your free financial readiness assessment today at ffpforme.com/exit. That's ffpforme.com/exit. Hello, Poised for Exit listeners. We are here today with Janice Miller, who is an author and managing partner with Miller Haga Law Firm in Calabasas, California. And Janice, so happy to have you on this show. Welcome to Poised for Exit.
Thanks, Julie. Glad to be here, and congratulations on your 300th episode. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been a labor of love for sure. And like I said in the show opener, it started out locally, people listening locally who knew me. But we've got listeners all over the world now, which is really fun.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And I know that it's because of having people like you on the show who provide this valuable content for not only the business owners who listen to the show, but also for the advisors who listen to this show, because there's a lot of topics we've covered in 300 episodes, but they're either based on, building enterprise value in the business, and ways to do that, or how to get yourself ready in so many different aspects. And so we're going to definitely be talking about the legal side of that today. But before we do, I would really like to just spend a couple of minutes talking about you and how you were attracted to becoming a lawyer, and then maybe just a little bit about your book that I mentioned at the show opener.
Sure, happy to do that. I was born and raised in Philadelphia and always knew that I wanted to be in California. So after law school, moved out here and started my career as what I call a baby lawyer, doing insurance defense, which is definitely a way to cut your teeth. So you get a lot of experience, but definitely not something that I wanted to do long time. And went to work in the entertainment business, which is why I came to California. And then transitioned from doing that to Disney, where I spent a few years of my career. And then the majority of my career was at Universal Studios Hollywood and City Walk, where I was the VP of Business and Legal Affairs and then Business Affairs, and helped run City Walk and did all the real estate and leasing.
Wow, what a
About
background.
Thank you. Thank you. About 10 years ago, we started our practice with my partner, Ian Haga, and we were business transactional lawyers, and we do everything from the starting of a company all the way through its operational life cycle to a time which fits your platform for merger, acquisition, exit plan, et cetera. So we take it all the way through from, again, the startup all the way through the wind down or the merger or acquisition of a business and everything in between. And then I still do commercial real estate.
Yeah, and they kind of go hand in hand and many times too, don't they, in transition?
Totally, absolutely, totally. Because when you have a business that you're going to sell, 9 times out of 10, it's either in a rented building or a leased building of some kind, and it's part and parcel of the sale. And how that's going to be part of the enterprise value of the business or not is definitely looked at. But you mentioned the book. Thank you for doing that. The book, which is called Coopertition, a combination of cooperation and competition, was a passion project that I did during COVID. 2 passion projects during COVID. One was to get licensed in Texas. Why? Because it was something to do and you don't have to actually sit for a bar. And my son and daughter-in-law are currently living there. And they weren't married at the time, but they are now. Not that a California kid will ever move to Texas, but it gives me an opportunity and options. And then
Yeah.
the second was to write this book with my daughter, who was home from college at the time. And it was like, boy, COVID is so tough for everybody. What can we do to add value and to be of service to folks? And I've never been one to shy away from working with my colleagues. I think that that's super, super critical and important. And this notion came up that how can we help our clients as well during this period? So, having a tiny bit of ADHD, and I'm not meant to be pejorative to those that have ADHD, but
I'm raising my
somebody,
hand.
right, somebody that likes to do something all of the time. We wrote this book. It's a very short 108-page book. I'll plug it. That can be found on Amazon or Barnes and Noble online. And it is through letters of the alphabet, goes through how you can work with your competition to benefit your clients, and how what your clients are really looking for is to you to be a consigliere, or always a consigliere, and to help your clients by sometimes working with competitors and by using the skills that they have and that you have. In some instances, people want, in divorce situations, which we don't do, people may want a male or a female. They may want somebody that's older or younger. They may want somebody that's been in this jurisdiction or not, or simply you have a conflict as counsel and can't help there. And some of my best referral sources are my nearest and dearest, and I'm going to put in air quotes, competitors, because we work so closely together. So that was the genesis for the book, and it's out there just as a reminder that there's such an abundance of work out there right now, in all ways, shapes, and sizes, and to add service. There's another book out there called The Go-Giver, and if anybody hasn't read that book, I would read that as well. And it comes from a place of abundance, and if you come from that place and giving back to people, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I agree 100% with all of that. And like I said in the show opener, professional collaboration is so essential in a business transition situation. And like you said, just being able to cooperate with the people who would be considered your competitors really does create a great team, right? Where we can all work together and trust each other. So
Absolutely, 100%. When you're working on a process, which is what we call an exit or a transition of some kind, if you're working through a process, sometimes you as the lawyer are the quarterback. One of my other passions is football, and very soon, I mean, we're in the middle of spring, but football is not that far away. Tennis is my passion now, and when we're taping this, the French Open is going on, and there was a very critical defeat in today's episode of the French Open, which is the number one male player, Yannick Sinner, went down because of the heat.
oh yeah.
So, but you have a team of people. He has a team of people as experts and as people that work through a process with their clients. You have to have a team, right?
Yeah.
And while I like to be the quarterback and have my special teammates, the accountant, the employment expert, the valuation guy, the HR people, sometimes that role shifts and changes, but you need everybody to help our clients through an exit and a process. And while sometimes clients don't really appreciate that, those that are fully aware of the need for that at the end of the day will work out better. May I tell a story?
Please do.
Okay, client story. A few years back, we represented a manufacturing company that was owned by its employees, right? It was a SAR plan, right? It was an ESOP.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked diligently, and this was a higher end and needed governmental approval. So it was over a certain dollar threshold. It was, $80+ million. And we went forward for over a year with the other side trying to get this through. And for whatever reason, we kept coming up against issues over and over and over again. And, your gut tells you when this happens that maybe it's not the right time. Maybe it's not the right feel.
Yeah.
And despite our best efforts, the trustee that had to approve the transaction just said, you know what, guys, we're not going to do it. And over $1 million in fees was spent.
Wow.
But after consideration, everybody just decided to take a pause.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward 2.5 years later, this deal came back for 4x. And everybody in the ESOP and the trustee were so thrilled that they took that pause. And during that 4-year period of time, they cleaned things up. They worked on revenue generation. They worked on cleaning up expenses, etc. And it was one of the most amazing things I've seen, that even though it cost another $1 million to get the deal done,
Right.
in fees, it was well worth it for everyone involved to go forward and have that done.
Absolutely. To your point about spending time on, dialing things in, making the machine better oiled and all the things, right? Operational, legal, things like that. But maybe we could just talk about that for a second. What are some of those first things, legally, operationally, for a business owner that they need to prepare well in advance before a transition?
Great question. Great question. The first is they need to have patience. While I was at Universal, one of the things we did was the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and I spent 8 years doing that transaction. And the person that was the president of the company at the time put together a team that was just running that deal, right? And there was a whole other team that was running the day-to-day operations. When you're working with small to medium-sized businesses, sometimes they don't have 2 teams that they can do to do that. You're running your day-to-day and you're trying to get the process through and the
Right.
transaction to move forward. And sometimes it's difficult. So one thing I would say for a business owner in the middle of a transaction is rely on your experts. Hire the right folks, whether it's the lawyer to lead and to be the quarterback, or whether it's the business broker or private equity to go in there and to have that person assist you so that you're not working 24/7 trying to get through the day-to-day and the process. So that's one thing. The second thing I would do is make sure you have a good team, that your accountant is top-notch, both internal and external, that your
Absolutely.
diligence is in really good shape, that you set up now a virtual data room. No more in the way back we used to have to take boxes to place and go sit in a room for hours and look at things. But now with technology, we have VDRs, which allow us to be wherever we need to be to do that, to accomplish that task. I would have your corporate records really spotless and cleaned up.
Oh, yes.
As small business owners, including myself, sometimes we have not commingled things, but we have business expenses, and the business expenses don't show the true picture of what the worth of the business is, because you extract them out when you're getting ready to sell your business. So you need to have clean records, both from a corporate perspective. I know this is a G-rated podcast, but I will say we have owners sometimes that have been in business for years upon years, and they're a corporation, they're an S corp, and they don't take time to do their yearly minutes. And then they try to go through a process, and the other side wants to see those minutes and what have been the big ticket items that they haven't done. So we do, I'll say, oh shucks minutes, right? versus oh s blah 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 minutes. But we have to sometimes do those minutes to get
Sure.
things cleaned up.
Yeah, that's common.
So
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
So if you have your minutes done and you're in compliance with things, and you don't have lawsuits, and you stay away from all the nasty things, including ADA stuff. In California, we have new rules for SIPO, which is privacy stuff now on websites that we have to be aware of, and that your books and records are clean, and that there's no employee issues. And with immigration, God love us where we are in the country today, that if you're in manufacturing or you have a lot of employees, that their W-9s are all in order, and their I-9s, sorry, are all in order, and that we have all of that in good working order, so that when the prospective buyer comes in, there's not a lot of time arguing about things or saying, where's this or where's that? You have the correct, clean records to present.
Yeah, definitely. And that all takes time. And I've never worked with a client that didn't have catch-up work to do. Some have more than others, which of course takes more time. But whenever that has to happen during due diligence, of course, then there could be deal fatigue, and you could actually lose an offer. But yeah, that's a whole nother show for sure. You were talking about the things that you have done in the past, and working in corporate is way different than the private sector, right?
100%.
So here you are representing small business, and prior to that, you were in the corporate world. So I'm sure that took a big adjustment for you, right? Just the whole mindset and how things go. And, so many of the people that you're representing are wearing a lot of hats, which, to your point before, that wasn't the case. But since you've made this change now, it's been 10 years, like you said, what are some of the things that surprised you that you thought, oh, this is great. I love this.
Great question again. I mean, some of the things that surprised me is just the manner in which folks do business and think it's okay to do business. There are rules and regulations for a reason, right? And it's just as easy to do things the right way as it is to do things the wrong way. And it goes back to that patience thing, and just taking an extra half a second sometimes to get it done correctly. There are folks, when you're in a process or just doing normal day-to-day things, that you go onto the Secretary of State's website, wherever you are, and you see that they haven't filed their statement of information for years, and their FTB or Secretary of State suspended, and they're continuing to do business, which is like, hey guys, you raise your hand. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not allowed to transact business. So again, I would say for small to medium-sized businesses, just make sure you dot the I's, cross the T's. I know it takes a little extra second. I'll tell you two stories. One is about startup businesses that want to start off, and I'm the type of person, if you haven't gathered already, will use my mouth and tell you the way it is. And I don't like to pull punches. We have people that call us that are startups. They have a tech idea, or they have something, and it's like, okay, it's going to cost X amount of dollars for you to be capitalized and to get this up and running. And they say, yeah, we can't do that, because we generally say when you form a business, you're planning for the entirety of the business. You're planning for today, and you're planning for the future. So if you have a partner, you need to do not only your corporate bylaws and shareholders agreements and stuff like that, but you need to have an LLC. God forbid something happens to one of you early on in the business. What's going to happen to that business? What's going to happen to the other people's shares and stuff? I'll interject a story. We had a business that was a well-established liquor brand, and they had four partners. It was a corporation, and they thought they had a correct shareholders agreement, but they didn't have a buy-sell. And the ages of these folks ranged from 50 to 74. Unfortunately, it was the 50-year-old that had a stroke. And it took us 9 months to unravel stuff, getting a guardian appointed for the 50-year-old. His life was forever changed.
Of course.
And working through all of that cost a lot of money to the conservatorship now that they had to establish for this 50-year-old. And how that was set up is because they had, everybody knew what the percentage of ownership was in the business, but they didn't plan for the future. Okay, that's story one. So having buy-sell agreements in place is critical.
Yes.
The other thing is now people are aging out, and there are a lot of folks that want to sell their businesses. We have a niche right now. We're doing 5 or 6 law firm exits.
Really?
Right, from 2-person partnerships to we have one firm that has over 200 lawyers that we're working with them in all ways, shapes, or forms.
How is that?
And
How does that shake out? Like, is it one firm buying another firm, or tell me a little bit about that?
yeah, so in a couple of instances, one firm is buying another firm. In a couple of instances, there's new partners coming in, or existing partners or existing lawyers that they're elevating to partners and buying in. So there's all ways of doing that, and all methods for evaluating what that looks like, whether there's buy-ins for the partners right now, how everybody's capital accounts are looking, et cetera. But the long and short of all of this is planning.
Yes.
And having to plan in the future.
Right.
So it's not uncommon 2 or 3 years before a partner in any genre, right, in any discipline, wants to exit, that you start this planning process. And again, we're talking about patience as one of the keys here. Maybe that's the theme throughout this, is it's not just the legal. We find in a lot of our processes, and again, I'll tell you another story. You asked for stories, I'm telling you stories.
Perfect.
We had a deal that we did a couple of years ago where a guy and his wife had owned a home health care facility. And they provided home health care people to come in and help older folks out. And they had a buyer, and we did the process. It was a great, seamless transaction, which, as you know, very often does not happen. These guys were well situated. They knew what they wanted to do. They started the process. The books and records were in great shape, no lawsuits. Everything was fabulous. We sold the business. And about 6 months after, he called me on the phone and said, "I'm in a world of hurt." I said, "Okay, what's going on?" He said, "Well, I went to Europe. I saw part of the world. I'm playing as much pickleball as I possibly can. But I married my wife for lunch. Sorry, I gave the punchline. I married my wife for breakfast and dinner. I didn't marry my wife for lunch.
Oh, I love that one.
You gotta find me something to do. Help me find another business." So what we tell folks is, it's not only the business end of transactions that you have to be aware of. He had no earnout. He was given, he was one of the lucky ones and had all his money up front as part of the sale.
Good for him.
But you have to. I mean, he had a couple of months, but it wasn't a big deal. You have to really figure out, are you emotionally ready for an exit, and what that's going to look like as well.
I love that you said that, Janice, because that is the softer side of exit planning that most of the time gets avoided. And for a lot of reasons, but because we're dealing with professional advisors who aren't necessarily psychologists, although sometimes we have to step into that role, and others do have for us as well, right? Whoever we're working with. But
I'm absolutely a therapist.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
letting go of that baby can be really, really challenging. Let's talk about
100%.
family owned for a little bit.
Sure.
You're working with some family owned businesses, closely held companies. Clarifying roles, of course, is huge because there's so much murkiness within all of that. And then who makes decisions about what can also be kind of left to the day-to-day and whatever whim, right? Not necessarily documented. But how important is it for them when they're, especially if they're doing a generational transfer, because I've been involved in a lot of those over the years too, to set up those expectations well in advance and have like some things in writing. Let's talk about that for a couple minutes.
Oh, my dear Julie.
I know that's a lot. That's like 4 episodes right there, and we have 3 minutes, but
Family businesses and operations are the most wonderful and the most challenging, chaotic things ever.
absolutely.
One of our biggest clients has been in business for 80 years, and they are the most wonderful people in the world, but
Yeah.
it is pure chaos,
Oh, 80 years.
right?
Wow.
We're on our 3rd and 4th generations now, which is great. We still have some legacy, which is amazing. Sometimes family businesses succeed in spite of themselves.
Yeah.
And while you have corporate governance and compliance, these folks need to sit down at dinner or Thanksgiving or Christmas, and it is super critical for transparency and communication. So we talked about being a therapist. I spent a lot of my time not only as general counsel acting through the strategy and what are we doing next in the legal stuff, but trying to get the folks to communicate and to talk to each other and figure out what the game plan is and how to preserve that legacy is key and tantamount. But it's really important to have good corporate documents, bylaws, meetings, reporting, so that all of that is transparent and everybody gets to know what's going on, and to give those that are running the company the runway to do that without having the family in their space at all times.
Yes.
We have several clients that we work with in that regard, and transparency and communication are key.
And the concept of your book, of course, when we talk about cooperation and competition, I don't think that there's an area where that would apply more than in family business. And we know in this country, private business is run by family businesses, almost all of them, right? And so for us
100%.
to champion that, take a stand, it's never going to be perfect, but yeah, the more that we can guide, I think the better off they all are going to be. So one last thing, what would be a practical step in your mind that a business owner could take this quarter to safeguard, de-risk, especially from a legal standpoint? I don't have very many lawyers that come on the show. I've had many over, the last 6 years, but not as many as I would like. Tell me what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. Again, great question. Easy things to do this quarter,
Yeah.
take minutes.
Yep.
Will only take minutes. Take a half a step, check the Secretary of State's website, make sure you're in compliance from that perspective, number 1. Number 2, get your corporate documents and records in order. That's easy. Number 3, make sure your website is in compliance with ADA things. There are some bottom dweller lawyers out there that are out there if something is not right from an ADA perspective, and in California and some other states now we have this Privacy Act stuff that you need to make sure that you're compliant with. These are all tasks that can be done in a couple of hours maybe, and then on a quarterly basis I would just check with that, make sure that your contracts are in order. From a legal perspective, obviously from a business perspective, make sure that your books and records from an accounting perspective are up to date, that you have financials, that you're using a CPA or somebody that knows what they're doing, that you have a 1-year, 3-year, 5-year business plan. Now that takes a little more time, but that you're working with professionals like yourself, that they have strategy in place and they understand where they want to go. The way it starts is the way it stops. And I know if you're starting a business today, you're not thinking about 20 or 30 years from now when you want to exit the business, but you should be. And you should be planning for the future at all costs, and consult a year and a half, 2 years prior to the time that you want to exit. Work with, again, people like yourselves, your accountants, your lawyers, and set a plan in place and execute on that plan.
Fantastic. I love the idea of visiting the Secretary of State website, making sure that you're up to date, update your corporate documents. I mean, these are just very simple things, but oh my gosh, do they make a difference, right? When you got those things buttoned up, because I've had clients in the past who haven't. And then to your point on the ADA, that is a thing, right? Having an accessible website. I have a good colleague of mine, a friend of mine, that actually her company specializes in compliance there. So we ran out of time, and it's a bummer because there's so many more things that we could talk about, Janice, but I really appreciate you being on the show.
Happy to be here and happy to come back anytime if you want to focus on a specific legal issue, Julie. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Fantastic. Thanks again for joining us. And of course, we will have you back. And to our listeners as well, our 300th episode. So proud to be able to say that. And it couldn't have happened without the listeners that we have that share this episode, comment on it. Go to our YouTube page and comment there. Share with your colleagues and your friends, and join us again next time.